Everyone knows that in Counter-Strike, to be the most accurate, you need to not be moving. And that statement is 100% true. However, moving and shooting does have its advantages, and knowing when and how you should apply this could completely change the way you play CS and also result in you winning more gunfights. I ran a series of tests on all the popular weapons and reviewed countless pro demos. What I discovered may surprise you, but before we analyze the results, let's take a moment to talk about today's sponsor.
SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a fully automated CS2 trading site. SkinsMonkey provides an instant way to get new skins. Along with that, they have a 24/7 live chat support, so if you run into any problems, they'll be right there to help you. If you're interested in finding a specific skin, you can use their search tool. Better yet, if you're not sure what skin you're looking for, you can use their filter tool to find exactly what you're looking for. If you use my promo code RyderDie, you can earn up to $5 for free. Trade up $100 to make the most of it. Now, if you don't want to trade your skins but you'd rather buy, SkinsMonkey is now offering a 30% deposit bonus. And if you use my promo code RyderDie, you'll receive an additional 5%. Remember, use code RyderDie to get up to $5 for free and claim your 35% deposit bonus. Thank you, SkinsMonkey, for sponsoring this video.
I tested all the popular weapons in CS2 except for the Scout and the Op. The reason why is that CS2 won't show the spread of these weapons with a console command. The workshop map I used to do my testing was on aimbots, and to see weapon accuracy I entered weapon debug spread show 1 and toggle crosshair 0 to disable my crosshair. What I was left with was a true representation of my current weapon accuracy. I verified all my discoveries with a website called CS Lab, and if you want to use the website for yourself, I left a link in the description. I conducted a 6-part test for each weapon, starting with standing accuracy. What I discovered was that the M4s are slightly more accurate than the AK, with the A1S being the most accurate, but not by much. I then tested a few of the pistols and confirmed what people already know, that is the USP being more accurate than the Glock, but what some people don't know is the Deagle is actually more accurate than the AK while standing. Both the MP9 and XM have a significant spread while standing, but this is to be expected for their weapon class. After I did standing testing, I moved on to crouch testing. More experienced players will already know this, but if you didn't, every single weapon in the game has a reduced spread while you're crouched. Something that most players won't know though is the Deagle has one of the highest crouch accuracies in the game. So much so that it's actually more accurate than crouching with both M4s and the AK. It's even more accurate than the Krieg. We'll talk more about the Deagle later, but this is important to remember. For my third test, I decided to run and shoot with all guns to see what works and what doesn't. To absolutely no one's surprise, running and shooting with all rifles was completely and utterly not viable, even at medium to short ranges. You practically need to be right next to someone to warrant this kind of shooting, and even then it will probably not work. The same concept is true for the Deagle. However, for the USP and Glock, running and shooting was surprisingly effective at short ranges. This is because the running inaccuracy is some of the lowest in the game. The only guns that are more accurate than these two while running are the Tech 9 and R8 revolver, which, by the way, running and shooting with the Tech 9 is absurdly accurate. But between the USP and Glock, the Glock has a lower running penalty and 8 more bullets per magazine, which allows for more of a forgiving running and gunning type approach. This is why in your games you see T's running and one-tapping on pistol round. Now for the MP9, running and shooting is completely viable at short ranges, but what's even more viable is doing this with a MAC-10. The MAC-10 actually has the lowest running penalty in the game when it comes to SMGs. With the XM, I found that running and shooting created a small penalty in accuracy, but the XM really is only good at short ranges or when shooting an unsuspecting player at medium ranges anyway. Now for shift walking, all the results I discovered from running and shooting remain true for shift walking. However, one gun that surprised me with its shift walking accuracy was the USP. From what I could tell, shift walking with the USP can be viable at medium to short ranges as long as you allow the gun to reset its spread in between shots. The results from the crouch walking test may come as a surprise for some players, but with all weapons, there's a very minor accuracy penalty for moving while crouching. This is why donk sliding is so powerful. If you're unfamiliar with what the donk slide is, you should check out my last video. Link to that will be in the description. This is also why crouching with the Deagle is so incredibly strong. Not only does it have one of the highest weapon accuracies in the game, instead of counter strafing, you can immediately start crouching and moving while shooting the Deagle and be more accurate than someone who has an AK and is standing completely still, which is insane. Another reason why crouching with the Deagle is so powerful is because of the spread reset. This was my final test. But before I started testing these guns, I was under the impression that the Deagle just takes a moment after standing and shooting to fully reset, but I was wrong. What I noticed is that the Deagle takes several seconds to become fully accurate again while you're standing, like 8 to 9 business days slow. But the spread reset while crouching is significantly shorter. Outside of that, there was nothing too crazy when it came to spread resetting with other weapons. Okay, all this information is great and all, but let's quantify 5 key takeaways so we can easily apply these into our matches. First, on pistol round, as a CT, try crouching when engaging the enemies from a far distance to have a smaller weapon spread and more accurate shots. This also applies to every weapon when shooting at enemies from afar. Also, as a T on pistol round, when entering a site or trying to create space for your team, you should be jumping around corners and running to clear space while shooting. This will make it as difficult as possible for the CTs to kill you and also generate maximum space for your team when taking a site. Second, when using an SMG, understand that moving won't penalize your accuracy as much as other weapons will. So moving to become more difficult to shoot will increase your success rate when engaging an enemy. Third, crouching while spraying and moving with a rifle is far more accurate than people think, but this is only effective at short to medium ranges. To maximize your success with this, research how to donk slide and incorporate this with your peaks. Fourth, while using the deagle, consider crouching when you can to increase your overall accuracy and to reduce the amount of time the gun needs to reset its spread. This will also make you insanely accurate at longer distances. And 5, don't sleep on the Tech 9 when it comes to running and shooting. This gun is actually broken on T-side eco rounds. But don't take my word for it. I've also recorded 5 different clips of all these things being applied by pro players in either official matches or high elo pugs. The first clip's from the grand final at IEM Cologne 2024. Vitality on their pistol round decides they want to take ramp. Notice how every member on Vitality is jumping into trophy to avoid being headshot, and Flamesy even jumping into ramp as the entry. And notice when Flamesy gets this kill on bit, he doesn't stop moving. Also notice during the retake, each one of the members on Vitality are almost always moving while shooting the Glock. The next example I have is from a pug that Stewie2K played. He makes an aggressive play outside on his anti-eco. He swings red with an MP9 and notice he never stops moving while he's shooting. He realizes there's a third player in mini and then he swings. And he swings really wide, and then he also doesn't stop shooting while he's swinging. These first 2 clips showcase just how powerful the first 2 key takeaways are that we talked about. One being, when you have a pistol, you probably shouldn't stop moving as a T, and you should also be jumping while you're taking space for your team. And 2, with an SMG, it's okay to not stop moving while you're shooting. This third clip is from a pug that Elige, Halzerk, and Grim played. Elige pushes Canal and finds a timing on the B player holding main. Notice how when he's spraying, he remains crouched and he's also moving while he's shooting. Later in the round, Elige finds another CT in Canal and does the same thing. He's crouched and he's also moving while he's shooting. This is something I see almost all players doing. Another example is from another pug Stu played. He makes another aggressive play outside, and when he swings red, he crouches when he sprays, and then he uncrouches. And then he crouches again, and while he's doing all this, he's moving the entire time. The next clip is from ESL Pro League, where Big is playing against G2. Big decides to take B through ramp, and Modesty gets killed after a flash, which leaves Nico alone to hold site. Nico is able to kill the entirety of Big with his deagle, and then an AK he ends up grabbing. But what you'll notice is that whenever Nico shoots, he almost instantly starts to crouch. He does this with his first 2 kills. The reason Nico is doing this is in the case that he misses a shot, once he crouches, he knows he'll be able to shoot again sooner and perhaps get a few more shots off before he dies. This references what we talked about earlier. Crouching will reset your spread faster with the deagles so you can get more shots off sooner. The last clip's from a match against NMG and FlyQuest. NMG successfully wrapped arches and pushed CT with 3 Tech 9s. While almost never stopping, Risky Bob was able to get both the B players and take site. After that, he grabs a rifle and finishes the remaining CT players rotating off A. The biggest takeaway from this is obviously that the Tech 9 has insane running accuracy. But something to consider is this. When your team decides to make a fast play on T side during an eco, don't buy deagles, but rather maybe buy a Tech 9. Plays like this become easier to do with the right gun. All in all, there's a place for moving and shooting in Counter-Strike, but this is only at certain moments. A good way to approach this concept is to see it as a balancing act. On one hand, you have your ability to accurately hit the enemy, and on the other hand, you have to make yourself as difficult as possible to be accurately hit. Finding the middle ground in this balancing act and understanding when you should and shouldn't be moving and shooting will make you a much better player. Now, what I don't want to do is confuse newer players that running and shooting is the only way you should play Counter-Strike. In fact, that's far from the truth. The best way to approach learning Counter-Strike is to first master the fundamentals. At really low levels of play, you don't necessarily need to apply any of these strategies I talked about. Good crosshair placement and counter-strafing will take you much further than learning how to donk slide. Thank you for watching my guide on how to correctly move and shoot. Before I close out, I want to shout out all the RyderDie YouTube members. I say this every week, but you guys seriously are the biggest motivation for me to keep making content and improving the content I do make. Also, if you haven't joined the RyderDie Discord, you should. We do giveaways twice a month, host 10-mans, and have LFG channels for each region. Alright, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with my content, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. Thanks for watching.